let's just DM Allure and enter personally, like get it from the source's mouth. Y'all know how I am about facts and truth.
Okay. Okay.
So I came up with a couple questions, and this is episode 11 and 12, but it all goes back to the night when y'all was at GC. So that's okay. So the first thing I want to know is, what did Justin say to you before the VIP? Like, how did y'all get to a VIP? Like, what happened? Like, lead us up to the VIP, because that's the story. The story is supposed to be all fucked in the VIP. That's
okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it all started when we were at the house before we even left for GC. So Justin was walking around. I don't know if you've seen, he had like an envelope full of money, and he was like, y'all, I'm gonna throw this money tonight. I got money for I want a lap dance. And he picked out Exotic, Benji, and me. And he already had told us that he wanted to get a lap dance with us. And we were like, okay, cool. That's fine. And yeah, so then we get to the club, and I have a confessional with Bree.
Oh, I fucked it up. You said y'all get to the club. I'm always fucking shit up.
We get to the club, and I have a confessional with Bree, and it gets a little heated in the confessional because she's like, you know, how you feeling? And at that point, I'm irritated because I had already told her that I did not want to be there, and that I was irritated about not getting the content that I wanted, which she already knew, but I was just reiterating why I was irritated. And she was like, okay, well, you know, hopefully you'll do good tonight. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So I leave, and I'm already just, I have an attitude, and I'm sitting there. I don't want to be there. I'm looking around. I'm like, this isn't even a place I want to be.
Right. And you can kind of tell. You was like, but I don't think I'm better than nobody, but you know how you just have like a certain standard, and you can just tell, like, you just had like a little standard about you. Like, you can tell if you did live in Atlanta, that wouldn't have been one of the clubs you would have necessarily worked at. You could definitely tell you would have worked at a more upscale club. So I did get that vibe from you that you didn't want to be here, especially at the first night, the first club. I just felt like you was completely over it.
Well, I wasn't over it. It was just, it was something that happened at the first club that kind of got under my skin.
Okay,
so,
well, you tell us what exactly happened at the, because it's like, I know that the managers was trying y'all.
Yes.
Exactly what happened? Like, what happened at the club? What happened?
Okay, so hold on, let me get a sip of water. Okay. So at the first club, we walk in, we get dressed, and I go downstairs. And the moment I walk downstairs, I see a guy standing. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and talk to him. So I talk to him, and we're just talking, being a little flirty, trying to get a dance, trying to make my first dance of the night. And he's like, yeah, let's do a VIP. I was like, oh shit, the first time, like the first person I talked to, hell yeah, like that's great. So we get to the back, and I'm like, oh, but wait, you have to pay the door guy. It's like a $50 fee for the VIP. And he was like, no, I don't have to. I'm the manager. And I was like, I was just like, okay. I didn't know we can dance with managers, because every club that I've worked at before, that's not allowed. And he was like, no.
Like a little appropriate, like, of course it's girls who fuck the manager, but it's like nobody really fucks the manager. It's like you keep business and pleasure separate. So that was appropriate of him to even approach you to go back there as a manager, and again, a person of standard in the club, a person of power, a person of status who has some type of authority. He should even never had came at you like that to start with.
I was already just thrown off, but I was like, this is kind of like the second club I've worked at here in Atlanta. So I was like, maybe this is just how it goes. I've never been in these types of clubs either way, like where dancing is majority, like stage performance is majority of the money. I've only kind of worked at clubs where you where you do lap dances to make your money.
Right.
So, yeah, I was like, okay, well, all right, fine. Let's just do this dance. Because I wanted to win. I wanted to make the most money that night. And, because I wanted to make money in general. So we get back there and we're having a normal dance. We're laughing, we're talking. I turn around, I'm twerking it a little bit. Okay, I'm happy. I just got my first VIP. I'm lit. Like, no one else got a dance yet. Like, dance with the manager. Like,
Ooh.
I'm feeling good. And then I turn around and he pulled his thing out.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking. So I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay, can you put that away? Because that's how I was taught to handle those situations. Can you put that away? That's all you said. And usually they go, oh, yes. I'm sorry. Like, that's when they get the hint that you're not with that vibe. So I say, hey, can you put that away? And he's like, come on now. Like, I'm not going to tell nobody. Like, let's just have a good time. And I'm like, no, that's not what I do. That's not what I'm here for. I just want to give you a dance. And he was like, well, he started getting mad. Well, he's buttoning up his pants. I'm about to have you and your girls get kicked out of here. I don't want you working here anymore. Y'all got to get out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just not going to do that. You say you wanted just to dance. And he was like, everyone knows when you come back here, this is what you do. And I'm like, what? And so at this point, like, I'm so flustered. I'm getting hot. I've never had anything like this happen before. I'm a little embarrassed because I'm thinking, like, we're all about to get kicked out the club. Like, what's going on? Like, it's crazy. And so he's getting his stuff. He takes the money. He had put the money on, like, the side desk that was in the VIP room. And he took the money. And he was like, yeah, and I'm not giving you your money either. This was a waste of my time, da-da-da-da-da. And so because, like, I didn't know what to do, I'm just standing there. And then all of a sudden, like, I get this boost of just like, no, like, I'm not about to let this happen to me.
Right.
So I start going off. I'm like, you know what? If you kick all my girls out, I'm going to tell people what you did. I'm going to make a scene and da-da-da-da. So he's like, man, fuck you, da-da-da-da-da. Fine. And he still took the money. He walked out the VIP room.
I believe you.
So with all that being said, it was just like, after that happened, I was just like, okay, like, I know that I've never worked at urban clubs is what people are calling them in the comments. I don't know the proper name, but I know I've never worked at clubs like this. So like, maybe this is just like, whatever, like, I just put myself in the wrong situation. I just have to watch how I move from this point out, like, make sure they're not managers, da-da-da-da. So I go out there. I still had a great night. None of the other guys were like that. It was a great night, made decent money, and that was that.
Well, that's why I just wanted to touch on that because everybody was like, "Allure energy change." She shifted, and the I wanted to speak on exactly what happened is because that happens a lot in these clubs, and we don't know what goes on. People try. Not just people, I want to say men try women all the time on a daily basis. Not saying you did anything wrong, but you just were trying to get a dance. And the fact that they would try you or belittle you or think you're not smart enough to just do a dance, or if you pull your thing out, that I'm a what like I would have been confused. I would have like, well, what are you doing? What am I supposed to do with that? Put your dick up. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I can understand how that could have scarred you moving forward just because it's inappropriate and it was your first time at that setting. I'm not saying that, you know, we all women and that it happens. I'm not going to say that because it do happens, but it shouldn't be allowed to happen. And it's not okay that it happened. And I understand how that could definitely shift your energy or shift how you felt moving forward about boot camp. So
well, moving forward, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to dance with managers anymore. This is like, whatever. And I seen in the comments someone asked, did I tell anyone about that one? No, I didn't, because I was kind of embarrassed that I even put myself in that situation.
It make you feel yourself. Like, that's why I said I want people to actually hear exactly what's going on because it happens all the time. When they won't say nothing or they won't speak up because they feel like it's going to be retaliation against me. Like he said, y'all can't come, you and all of y'all can't come back to the club. And so that's exactly why I wanted you to speak on it, because it happens. It's a whole Me Too thing. It happens all the time.
Right. Right. So after that, like I went home. I kind of brushed it off because I still made a decent amount of money that night. I was like, it was just a fluke. And plus, that night Bree did not pay the tip out, so she already had said in the car, like when we left, she was like, we're not going back here. You know, I didn't pay the tip out, so don't worry about it. So at that point, I kind of just dropped it and was kind of just looking forward to the next club and just letting that go and chop it up as a learning experience. Okay. So the next night we get to the next day we're in the kitchen, and that's when Justin says the thing about like, guys, I'm gonna get some dance.
Okay, but before you say that, I just want to insert, because I want to take responsibility, because I remember the conversation in the kitchen. Only reason I'm taking responsibility for this is because I remember specifically saying out of my mouth in the kitchen, like, y'all, Justin got money, because Justin told me, like, he's like, you know, I work money to tip the girls. I support Bree too. Like, we all was there to tip y'all, and we all spent our own money out of our pocket. So I take responsibility, because I don't know, and not saying this is what you did, but maybe my words could have been a little misleading, because I was like, dance with Justin, y'all. Justin got the bag. Dance with him. He tipping y'all too. Like, I feel like I definitely inserted that, and I definitely put that, if anybody did pick up on that, I definitely put that not as a negative intention, but just to tell y'all, like, y'all, these clubs is slow. Y'all wasn't really making no money. But I was like, y'all, don't forget, Justin got money too. Like, don't forget, dance with Justin. You know, we all here to tip y'all. So I do remember in the kitchen when I said that, because right after that, that's when Justin went and got his envelope. He had the money. He was saying, I'm here. He was like agreeing with me, like, yeah, y'all, I'm here to tip too. I'm here to get dances too. So I agree. That definitely did happen. And I definitely was a person to have started that conversation, or even if anybody was saying, but it was just me being true. Justin's here to tip. He wanted to tip and have fun too, and that's what he did.
Yep. So actually I misspoke. The next night I did not dance with Justin, but he did pull out that envelope and he did make it rain on us at the club. Like, you know, he threw money that night. But that night we went to GC. And as we were standing in line waiting to go in and getting approved and getting our bags checked, a man comes out, and I turn around. I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to be the first person to get a customer again. Like, and I'm just like, oh, hey, da-da-da. And I'm being flirty. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go back in there and get a dance. I was like, okay. So I'm feeling good about myself. Everyone's looking at me. They kind of hate, and I'm feeling good. Like, okay. Y'all, I'm about to get another dance. Like, I'm about to be the first person to get this dance here.
Not the first again.
Huh?
Not the second, first again.
First again. So I'm like, I'm feeling just really good about myself. And we go in, and I'm walking to the back, and I see the man that was outside. He in the manager's office sitting at the desk. And I'm just like,
another manager?
Another manager. So I'm like, wow, like, okay. And so Bang comes in there, and she's like talking, hey, like she's talking to the house mom. She's comfortable here. Huh?
Come in the office?
No. She's coming. We're in the dressing room at this point.
Okay.
And Bang comes in, and she's just like, hey, she's talking to the house mom. She's like, yeah, I work here. Like, I've used to work in the past. Like, you know, this is a good club, da. And, you know, letting everyone know that she used to work there. So when that happened, I had already told myself to not dance with any more managers. But this time I'm like, okay, but I want to make money tonight. So let me ask Bang if, like, since she's worked here plenty of times, like, if she knows this man, if it's safe, like, should I go and get a dance with him? And so when I talked to her, and I'm like, yeah, is it safe to work here? Is it cool? I mean, is it safe to dance with the manager? Do you know him? Does he have money? Like, is that a good situation to put myself in? She was like, yeah, go ahead. Go work there. I was like, okay. I mean, go give him a dance. And I was like, okay, cool. cool. Like, maybe that first night, like, I just got the wrong manager. Maybe he was drinking a little bit and, you know, acting irrational. You said what?
You said you felt like you might have got the wrong manager the first night?
Yeah, because I noticed there was like 2 or 3 at Seduction. 2 or 3 managers. So I was like, maybe I just got one that was drunk, a bit aggressive, like, you know, just the wrong situation at the wrong time. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna dance for this one. No big deal. So I'm waiting all night. I'm like, hey, you ready? He's like, no, not yet. I'm still doing work. And I'm like, okay. I wait like another hour or 2. Hey, you ready? No, I'm still working. Okay. Ask him again. Hey, you know, it's almost like 2 hours before we leave. I'm like, you ready? He's like, yeah, let's go. So I'm like, from the last experience, before we even go in the VIP, I'm like, hey, like, what are your intentions? And he doesn't grab my, like, private part, but he kind of, like, rubs against it and, like, he's like, that's what I want to do. And I was like, oh, no, I don't do that. And he was like, okay, well, then I don't want to dance. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I don't want to dance. And I was like, okay, but I waited all night for you. Like, how is that your only intention? He's like, I don't want you. And he walks off and he's pissed at me for the rest of the night. Like, he won't look my way. He's like intentionally kind of like rolling his eyes when I get close. Like, so the vibes was just off. I'm irritated because I waited all night waiting for that money. We haven't really made much that night yet. So I'm like, this would have been good money. Now it's ruined. Now I'm not going to get that money. This happens again. Like, I'm frustrated at this point.
Okay, so when you start dancing with Justin.
That is the next night.
All right, so
okay.
Fast forward to that. That's what I want to know about. Like, what happened that night leading up to that? Because these are the accusations. All right, I'm going to just tell you what the accusations is. I haven't watched all the episodes, but when I was there, he basically hinted that you were soliciting him for prostitution. He said y'all were in the VIP room, and he said that nobody touched each other, but you basically played with your pussy, or you was, you know, basically insinuating you wanted to fuck. And he also did say you paid for the VIP. Like, he was adamant about you paying for the VIP.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what happened then? Like, what happened with that?
Okay, so before we get there, there was an important part that happened before that even happened.
Okay, pull up important tea.
So when we had got there the next day, that's when I had that conversation in the VIP, in the confessional with Bree. And I was irritated. I was mad. So I'm sitting down at the club, and there was a whole, were you there that night where there was a whole bunch of rappers in there? Or like those 2 tables of rappers? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was 2 tables of rappers, and I'm asking everybody, all the girls are asking, do y'all want to dance? Do y'all want to dance? And they're like, no, we're gonna spend money, but it's gonna be when we do our stage performance. And so the guys chose Bank and Champagne, and so they made money on stage.
That's good. That's what they should.
Yeah, it's good.
It was mm-hmm. Get up on that stage.
Right. They killed it, by the way. So I am sitting there. I'm irritated. I haven't made any money. I'm mad that I'm even here based off of what happened yesterday. And so Bree is seeing how mad that I am. And so she's telling Tori to go over there and put the camera in my face and record me. So Tori keeps intentionally coming to try to make sure I'm in the vlog, like showing that I'm mad. And so I'm getting frustrated. And so every time she does that, I know she can't come back in the locker room. I'll walk and go to the locker room so she doesn't so she's not in my face.
Yeah.
So she doesn't record me, because honestly, I didn't want to be in the show pissed, pouting. Like, it's just not cute. So, Justin sees all this going down, and he comes up to me and he's like, Allure, like, I see how they're harassing you. That's not right. Da da da. Like, You don't deserve this. You're so sweet. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm confiding in him. It's 2 in the morning. My man is asleep at the time. My mother is asleep. Like, I'm feeling anxious. I want to go home, but I'm just trying to make the best out of the situation. So he's just like, I see it. Like, I told Bree to stop. I told her to stop doing that. It's not right. Da, 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 da. And so he's like, you know what? Let's make the night better. Give me a dance on the floor. So I was like, cool.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that when that happened. The DJ even said, this is what the DJ said on the loudspeaker. He was like, you cannot give lap dances on the floor. And when we all turned around, because remember, it was nobody in there. It was kind of dead.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the loser rappers at the end. I do remember them. But anyway, he was like, you don't, at this club, we don't give lap dances on the floor. Y'all got to go to the VIP. And I remember the DJ saying it, and I just was looking around like, well, who the fuck is getting a lap dance on the floor? And I remember I saw you and Justin sitting over there to yourselves, like talking, like chatting, like you was sitting on his lap, but you was sitting there, y'all was like talking. I saw that.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, so I took my clothes off. Every club that I've worked at has been a nude club. So I didn't realize, no, I think it was okay to have your clothes off. I don't know, but I seen in the comments like, oh, she got naked. I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Clothes off, but you couldn't be naked and lap dance. That's why he was like, go to the VIP. Because
right.
This is the rule in Fulton County. You can't lap dance. You can't put your butt on their penis. You can't lap dance. So that's the rule in Fulton County. That's why all the clubs in Fulton County, people be like, Atlanta girls is lazy, because that's where they do two-stepping. They shake a little butt, because you can't physically lap dance. Where at upscale clubs and white clubs, because I've worked in these environments, that's how you make your money. You do lap dances. So I understood what you were doing. You were doing a lap dance.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were supposed to do. And so they were like, no, you have, the manager came and said, no, you have to get on the floor and do a VIP. So I was like, well, do you want to do a VIP? He was like, I've never gotten a VIP before. And I was like,
wait,
okay,
who said they never got a VIP before?
Justin.
Oh.
What?
I just think that's funny. Go ahead.
So he's like, I've never gotten a VIP before. I don't even know what that's like. I was like, well, you want to try it out? He was like, sure. So I was like, okay, cool. So we go back there. It's a nice dance. We're dancing. We're talking. We're talking about what was happening that night, how I was feeling, da da da. And I don't know if you know this, but Justin has had a history of like massages or something.
Wait a minute. A history of massages?
Yeah. So
a freak shit. I thought he had a history of security.
No, he said he's like done masseuse or something in the past or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember the whole story that he told me, but yeah, when we got back to the house that night, he was offering like foot massages to the women, to everybody in the house.
I did hear, I don't remember who said it, but I do recall one of the girls saying that Justin said he will give you a foot massage. I do remember hearing that. I didn't recall him being a masseuse, but I do recall hearing him say he would give a foot massage if your feet was hurting. Because at the time I was thinking, I was like, well, these bitches, and when I say bitches, I don't say it in an offensive way. That's just how I talk. But I'm like, these bitches was barely dancing. Like, it wasn't nobody to really dance for. It wasn't no money. So how he offering foot massages? Nobody's feet should fucking hurt. Like, I just didn't get it.
I mean, our feet was hurting that week because we were doing the pole classes in the hills during the day and then working that night.
I'm dancing. Y'all not really comfortable in heels. So I can understand how your feet were hurt, because the first night I danced, my feet was on fire. So I can understand that.
So yeah, and he's good at massages. So while I'm giving him his dance, I'm like turned around, I'm dancing, and he's massaging my back, and I'm like, oh my God, that feels so good. So we're just like flirting, we're talking, the dance is going amazing. I'm like, oh my God, this feels amazing. And that's as far as it went. First of all, it's as far as it went. But it was this like, oh no, my flashcard is Dang it. It's as far as it went, but it was very sensual. It was a good dance, and it wasn't anything like, because I had a boyfriend at the time. I have a boyfriend now, and he had a girlfriend at the time. So we weren't planning on taking it past that. But I don't know how it is for other strippers, but when I dance for my clients, like, it does get a little sensual sometimes. Sometimes it is a vibe back there, and you do enjoy it. You actually would prefer to enjoy it, because then you feel like this is the worst thing you're ever doing, you know? So I enjoy myself when I go back there. I allow myself to be sensual. I allow myself to open up that gate, but I do have my limits. Like, I do know where to stop. So
you human, you allowed to, like, you human. I dance. Sometimes you might get a little wet. You might get a little turned on. You still human. Like, we still, that's still a man.
Yeah. So yeah, it did get sensual. It did get flirty. It was fun. But I never propositioned him for sex. I don't know. What else did he say?
He just basically, well, he didn't say you propositioned him for sex. He said that you was playing with yourself, and he paid for the first VIP, and you paid for the second one because you was enjoying it so much. It was such a good dance that you just had to get more. So you paid for the second one, and that's basically what he told Bree. Like, he was basically like, you was with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. Like, I don't think I was playing with myself, but if I would have touched myself, like, I feel like that's okay.
Don't
but
was playing with yourself. ALLURE.
Like, no, what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying, I just feel like I personally did not go there to say that I was literally, like, back there going in. But I do remember being turned on. I do remember enjoying the dance, and leaving it like that. Like, he didn't touch me, I didn't touch him, and I felt like it was okay to touch myself. But I don't want to say it like that, because I don't want y'all to feel like I was sitting there, like, masturbating while I was back there.
If you was, shit, you gotta get your...
I was not masturbating. I was not masturbating. I was not. But it was a great dance. So moving past that, that was the first 15 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, the manager or whoever came back in there was like, okay, the dance is over. So I'm like, okay, do you want to do another one? And he was like, oh, I have all my money at home. Can I pay you when I get back to the house? I was like, yeah, I mean, we can do another one. I can pay for it right now. So we did another dance. It was great. And that was that. And we left. Now, I don't know who remembers in that episode when he was talking about it. He was like, I told Benji that I'll give her money back when she got back to the house.
Because he also said he was going to give Exotic, Benji, and you a dance.
Yeah, well, he said that, yeah, he told Benji that he left his money at home and that he would give her money back when he got to the house. So he told me the same thing. So when he came back, he gave Benji her money and he gave me my money back, which I showed you the receipts. I can't pull it up, like, on my phone.
Receipts, girl, don't pull up the receipts, but I did see them, and they are...
He did. He admitted. He said, I gave her. It wasn't weird. It was just like, okay, that was great. That was great. Cool. Well, see you back at the house. Okay. Thank you for the dances. You're welcome. So,
well, with that being said, that it wasn't even that deep. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that serious. Y'all were just giving a dance. How do you feel about him throwing you under the bus to Bree, or trying to make you out to be like insinuating that y'all did something sexual more than what you're saying you did?
Well, I talked to my boyfriend about it, and he said that it was wrong that I even gave him a dance in the first place. So,
What's your boyfriend say?
He was like, you shouldn't even have let him. First of all, he gave me a foot massage. You shouldn't have let him give you a foot massage, and you shouldn't have danced with him anyways. So looking back at it, like, I think I kind of I set myself up in that situation by even allowing myself to go back there, especially like with me being as vulnerable as I was. Like,
I agree, especially, and this is not to bash you, but especially after what you experienced on day one. It was like after experiencing that with the first manager day one, it's like, I understand because I've put myself in situations too before for money. That's why I said I'm not judging you. I've put myself in more dangerous situations than that for money before. So I understand why you did what you did, but it's like sometimes you just have to think money is not everything. Money was not the root of all. It's really the root of all evil. Like if you ain't make your house fee that night, you ain't get it. If you ain't get that first dance, you just ain't get it. It's like, I do agree, like you shouldn't have never been back there to start with. Granted, Justin is just as wrong as well, because as a professional and your job is to do security, but I do recall him being a good friend to Bree as well by spending and tipping and helping y'all. So I understand both perspectives of the story. That's why I always say it's three sides to every story. It's his side, your side, and the truth. Usually the one of y'all stories gonna coincide more with the truth, and there's no reason to even like be like that. That's why I was like, let's just ask you personally. But I do agree with the nigga, you should have never even put yourself in that situation. But just another thing I want to say real quick, and this is to all the women on my live right now. Men know who they can try and who they can't try. I remember me and Tori was having this conversation in the car on one of my vlogs. It's like, they know what they're going to do, who they can take advantage of and who they can't. You give them a sense of vulnerability. I feel like he knew you was vulnerable. He knew that you would have went for the money. He knew you was there for the money, and you would have went for the money. So he took advantage and was on go because he knew you was on go for the money.
Well, like, he didn't take advantage of me at all. Like, he was not trying to pull his thing out. He wasn't trying to touch me in any way. We just enjoyed each other, like, as two people, like, in that environment where I have no clothes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was respectable. He didn't ask me to do anything. So, and before we even left, like, he told everyone that he was going to get dances, including you guys, and y'all kind of backed him up and said it was cool. It was safe.
I did say that. I was like, Justin got money, y'all. I kept saying that. I was like, y'all, Justin. Yeah.
I was kind of just like, okay, like, this is a safe environment.
I was like, dance with Justin. Justin got money, y'all. That's why I said I did put that ploy out there. So, you know, I did.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's safe. Like, this is A-okay to do. And like with how Bree and Tori was trying to like record me that night, I was just like in a place where I was just like, you know what? Like, I want to make my money. I trust Justin. We have been vibing. He's the only person who seemed like to be on my side at the point. And yeah, like I definitely shouldn't have put myself in that situation, even with how I was feeling. So I can acknowledge that now, and that's that. And I don't feel after the boot camp, after I left, Justin had called me the next day, and
wait, after you left, Justin called?
Yeah, he DM'd me and was like, "What's your number?" And so we talked on the phone, and he was like, "What should I tell people? Like, Bree's asking me to do interviews. What should I tell people? What do you want me to say?" I said, "Tell the truth. Like, tell them what happened." Like, but I expressed to him, I was like, "You are allowed to tell your truth, but from me, in my perspective, like, I feel like when you dance with people, like, you guys, that relationship is like a therapist and a therapist and their person. Like, you keep that to yourself. You know, you say you had a good dance and you go about your life. That's you guys' private moment.
Definitely ain't keep it to himself. We knew about it.
Right. I'm like, I was like, you don't have to share that information. Just say it was between us. We had a great time. Let it go. Like, that's what I was going to come with. And when he put it all out there that, you know, it did get a little over sexual than it needed to get, I have to admit, I told him to tell his truth, and that's what he wanted to come out with. And at the end of the day, I'm not upset about it. I just, you know, I just wish, like, it wasn't put out there. Like, that's not what I wanted to people to know, but if people have to know, it is what it is. And that's what happened.
Well, thank you, girl, for taking responsibility.
You're welcome.
I appreciate. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the shade room.
No, I have one more thing I want to address.
Go ahead, say what you get. Everything you want off your chest, sis.
Lastly, I see a lot of people on my YouTube expressing that I was bashing Black men, and I have a lot of self-hate because after that night we got back to the club, and Bree was expressing that now we get to choose what club we wanted to work at from this point on. And as she was explaining the options, it was all options of non-permit clubs because she said we wouldn't have time to go get a permit before working at better clubs. So I told her personally, I said, Bree, I would like to work at a
white club. I'll say it.
No. I said, Bree, can I work at Rumor since that's where I got hired? And she said, well, you have to get your permit. And I was like, okay, can we do that? And she said, no. I was like, well, I can have my boyfriend take me to the permit office and then go to that club. And she said, no. And so the clubs she gave me, I don't know if she edited this part out, but it's not in there. We talked about like extras and having to work at clubs where you have to do extras. And she was saying, well, that's kind of like how non-permit clubs work. Like shit like that kind of happens there more than any other club. And I was like, well, Bree, like, I don't want to be there doing that. I don't want to be in an environment like that. And she said I had no other option but to work something at a club like that. So yeah, I basically said that the clubs we were at were like ghetto, and there were a lot of pimps and prostitutes from what I saw there. And a lot of people felt like I was bashing Black men or I didn't like Black men, but that's not the case. And I don't know if I should apologize for wording it like that, but that is still how I feel. So
you're entitled to your opinion and you're entitled to feel that way. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, but I do love Black men. I do love Black people, and it's not like that. So that is that.
Well, all right, girl. And I done did my whole head in the meantime. That was 41 minutes. We went 10 minutes over, but it's cool. And y'all, if y'all ain't following Allure, make sure y'all follow her. Make sure y'all check out her YouTube channel.
Please
subscribe to her shit, because Allure actually has receipts and tea on Justin and the day after. And I saw the receipts for my own two eyes. So make sure y'all check out Allure vlog with the whole Justin situation. She gonna be speaking more on it, and she gonna post her details and her receipts from who you got receipts from.
What do you mean?
Like who your receipts from? They from
Justin. That's it. I don't know if I need receipts from anybody else.
Okay, so she got her own receipts, her own screenshots, her own call logs, whatever she got coming through, she got them. So make sure y'all tune into her channel, okay?
Bye, guys. It was good talking to you guys.
Bye, Lord. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, too.
All right. Well, look at here. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. You see, I keep telling y'all, go to the source if y'all want to know.